one?
Yes, it's more fun. No, we're not late. We're not late at all. Promise, we're right on time. It's not like we had so much to do anyway. But welcome to another one of our live session where we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand, because we are kind of the experts of traveling New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide and absolutely free for you guys to use to plan your trip to New Zealand. There's literally thousands of articles on the website helping you plan your trip, even getting everything organized before you come to New Zealand, and even helping you with a few things before you even leave New Zealand. And whether you're just on a 2-week holiday or doing a whole year of a working holiday, we have loads of information on the website to help you with all that. But also, because we know that not everyone really likes to read thousands and thousands of words on, whatever. We also have this live Q&A session, which we do every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So
8 a.m. New Zealand time is, I think Europe is changing time this week. So it's going to be 8 p.m. in the UK, 9 p.m. in France. In the USA, it's 2 p.m. EST, 11 a.m. PST. In India, it's 12:30 a.m. That's bright and early on Sunday. And in Australia, it's 6 a.m. on Sunday. And all the other time right here, they're all Saturdays time.
Okay.
Here we go.
So but if you miss one of our live sessions, we also compile questions that we gather throughout the week in the comments section of any of our videos, and we go through some of those questions as well during this live Q&A.
All right, so you guys can ask us any questions you want on the live chat right now, anything to do with traveling in New Zealand, and we'll be super happy to answer. And we read every single one of the comments, so nobody is going to be left behind. So we have Babu Ma that says, what about immigration New Zealand? What about student visa when lockdown ends? So if you want to know more about what happens with the lockdown and with the visa processing system, you can watch our video that we published about 2 hours ago, which address all the lockdown and all that. So we have all the information there. But as a general rule, on this channel, we actually don't have the right to give you immigration advice, because the law in New Zealand states that you have to be a registered immigration advisor to be able to give immigration advice in New Zealand. And so since we're not registered immigration advisor, we actually don't have the right to give you any immigration advice. And basically that would be illegal for us to do that. So we usually only give very generic advice. So, in short, I can tell you that yes, student visa will be available again in New Zealand as soon as the lockdown is finished. But that's basically all we can tell you. The best way to get advice for immigration in New Zealand is actually the Immigration New Zealand website. So it's immigration.govt.nz, and there's a ton of information there, and you have all the up-to-date information. And this is usually when where we find also all our information as well. I mean, we do have a couple of extra channels to find information, but usually we get information from that website. So it's www.immigration.govt.nz. It's really the best place to find all the information, and that's the only place where you're going to get the official immigration information. There is a lot of website that try to look legit, that try to look official and everything, but they're not official one if they're not .govt.nz, which is the government website. I know a lot of people, we receive a lot of email from people from India, for example, that tell us, hey, is this website legit? Is this website legit? Well, it's simple. If it's not immigration.govt.nz, it is not a legit website. Immigration.govt.nz. Seriously, remember that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the NZDT, which is kind of a visa that you can get to transit through New Zealand. If you have to transit or anything, you have to get this visa. Same thing, you only get it from the official website. Please, don't get scammed into using other websites.
Yeah.
Please. Anyway, it's my PSA, my public service announcement right here, just on this one. All right, and so Babu says, thank you so much, love from Nepal, regular viewer. You're very welcome.
You're
Babu.
welcome.
Awesome. How is it going in Nepal? Are you living near Mount Everest? I mean, it's kind of a dream of us,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, are you living nearby? Is it awesome? All right, we also have the Engineer 77. Good morning, how are you doing? So he says, campervan rent cost in the Southland, any ideas? So we have a few videos about that, but first up, it's all about the season.
Yeah, well, first of all, if you're traveling in the winter season, which we are coming into right now, it's currently autumn in New Zealand, and in the next few months, the campervan costs in terms of their daily rental will go down. So yeah, basically, first of all, in the winter season is when you'll find your cheapest rates compared to in the summer. Usually, you can think about the campervan costs being twice as much.
Yeah.
But also, the thing that determines your rental costs is the type of campervan you're renting as well. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so you can go for everything, right? You have the camper car, which is kind of like just a car where the few back seats have been removed, and then there is kind of a bed. There is a porta potty that will be your toilet, and at the back, when you open the boot of the car, you will have like kind of a small kitchen. So that's kind of a camper car style camper van. Then you have a camper van, which is usually kind of a Toyota Hiace. So it's kind of like a minivan, which usually have an extra top on top. You can go on top and sleep there. And you also have a bed and a table to sit, and there is a slightly bigger kitchen on the back. And then you have the RV, which is like literally the rental vehicles, like those motorhome, your big house on wheel. So that's the three different type of camper van that you will have, and then the costs are going to be extremely different. And then so that's kind of like the three main factors that will determine kind of the cost of your camper van. So the Engineer 77, if you can give us a little bit more ideas of when you want to travel and also what type of camper van you can have, then we can start giving you a bit more information on that. Because yes, we do have articles on nzpocketguide.com. So the way you can find those one, and you literally have like the calculation of the cost, you go on www.nzpocketguide.com, then you go on travel tips, then transportation, and then car and camper van rentals. If you click on those things, you literally have our breakdowns of like cost and what we think it costs, and which company you should use and all those kind of things. You have all our tips on there, so you can go check this one out. But if you do want to ask us some questions, just give us a bit more information, and we'd be happy to oblige. Context, people, context. But yeah, we'll get back to you in a minute when you give us more info, mate. Babu Ma says,
Thank you so much.
It's here. Thank you so much. Yep. Well, best. It's pretty hot over there. And he says, we are also self-isolating here. Be safe, guys. Yeah, we are also doing that. We released a video about that about a couple of hours ago. So if you want to check out what it is, self-isolation in New Zealand, you can check this one out. Elijah Price. I probably have destroyed your name. I'm sorry. She or he, I think it's a she, asked, have you been to Kelly Tartan in Auckland?
Well, I personally have some views about that sort of attraction. So I personally haven't, but yeah.
I have been as part of kind of tours and trying experiences and everything. So as on personal views, right, we're a little bit against kind of zoos and everything because we like animals to be free. But yeah, so for this reason, it's not necessarily the thing that we on a personal level like the most. However, in an objective kind of way, it is a pretty cool kind of very different kind of aquarium, just because the way it is built. It is built in the old sewage system of Auckland. So they kind of cleaned all the tanks, and so you kind of underground all the time. So it's very different than the usual, and it gives you some massive tanks for a lot of places. If you're traveling with kids, they're really kind of kid orientated. It's very much a family kind of activity. So there is a lot of like a touch and feel kind of tank, so you can put your hand in the water and touch the anemones and all those kind of different kind of things that you call starfish and everything like that. So it's kind of a cool experience in that way. There are penguins. There are also those aquariums when you walk in the tunnel and you can see them around. You can see sharks and everything like that. So it's really much so. It's not big, but it's really interactive. And it's very much family style and kids like. Now, one other thing you need to know is that it is quite far away from the Auckland city center. So it's not something you just walk to or anything. You'll have to either take the shuttle, which is provided and usually picks you up from Auckland Central.
They're pretty easy to spot. I think they're like literally giant shark heads.
Or you have to drive there, but the park is quite limited. There is not a ton of parking in there. So you have to know that getting there is a little bit tricky, but it's awesome for families. Kids absolutely love it. If you have any follow-up questions, Elia, just go for it. Robila Mohammed says, I really want to come to New Zealand. I hope the immigration will give chance for me to come. I need to be easier. Not 100% sure what that means, but yeah, there you can get a visitor visa to come in New Zealand and visit and travel New Zealand. You can travel around New Zealand for about 3 months and experience the beauty that New Zealand has to offer. It's a great place to travel to. I mean, obviously we love it. That's why this whole channel. That's what this whole channel is all about: discovering New Zealand, and experiencing the awesomeness of New Zealand. Extreme Talota, Morena, guys. So Morena, if you guys don't know, that means good morning in Maori. So Morena to you too. Thank you for joining us another week. I know you were here last week and actually the week before.
I think we have a regular viewer.
Yay. And Babu says, have you been here to Nepal, guys? We would love to have you here. No, we haven't been to Nepal yet, but it's on the bucket list. So here you go. All right, so while you guys are prepping up with some more questions for us, we're happy to help. What we're going to do, we're going to go through some questions that we received throughout the week. All right, do you want to read this one?
Yeah, so we have a question which we answered for the first part last week, but we decided, since it's such a, quite a big question, we have a lot to answer on it, we've decided to split it into 2 parts. So the question's from Hiroshi, asking, what would be a good 2 to 3 days itinerary for each region of New Zealand? Thank you. And for this video, we're going to be going on the South Island of New Zealand.
Yep. All right, should we get the map out?
The trusty map. Do you have the pens?
Yes, of course I have the pens. All right, so first up, we are not going to follow the basic, like the official geographical regions of New Zealand. We're just going to go through that kind of like the main touristic areas and give you 2 or 3 activities that we would love to do around this area, just for you to know what to do with your 2 or 3 days in each region. So let's start with the top of the North Island. So this includes the town of Blenheim, Picton, and Nelson right here.
All right, so Blenheim and Picton, they're pretty close together, these 2 towns. Picton's sort of known to be the place where you take the ferry to get between the North Island and the South Island.
There is more to do there.
But there is more to do there. It's actually part of a place called the Marlborough Sounds, which has quite a lot of really cool things to do. There's various boat tours you can do, sort of dolphin swimming tours you can take there, kayaking. And there's also the Queen Charlotte Track, which is a multi-day hike and a really good alternative to do for one of the Great Walks if you want to do a multi-day hiking trail but stay in some maybe a little bit nicer accommodation than staying in huts and stuff. That is a good alternative. In Blenheim, you can do various winery tours. And
chocolate tasting in Makana Chocolate Factory.
Yep.
So don't miss it.
And then in Nelson, the city itself, you can go and hike to the centre of New Zealand. And there's various different food-related things you can do there as well. Or you can take sort of a day trip to the Abel Tasman National Park.
But because it's the next destination, we have Golden Bay and the Abel Tasman National Park right here. What would you do here for 2-3 days?
Okay, so for the Abel Tasman National Park, that is where actually one of the Great Walks of New Zealand is located, the Abel Tasman Coastal Track. It's a multi-day trail, but you can sort of make it as long or short as you like because there are water taxis that take you from various places along the coast, so that's pretty cool. You can do sailing there, you can do kayaking tours, but if you want to explore a little bit further on this side, which is more where Golden Bay is and Takaka is the main town there, there are various different sort of free attractions to see there. There's Labyrinth Rocks, there's waterfalls, there's kayaking tours to see the other side of the Abel Tasman National Park. There's a salmon farm if you want to fish for salmon. And yeah.
There's a labyrinth of rock at some point.
I said the Labyrinth Rocks.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay. So then you can drive through the Nelson Lake and then you can explore the top of the West Coast. I'm just going to stop before Glacier Country is here. Oh, here you go.
Okay.
There you go. So you get 2-3 days to explore the West Coast.
Okay. So sort of up north of the West Coast, you have a place called Westport, which is known for its surfing. It's a really good place for surfing on the South Island. There's a few bike trails and that sort of thing there as well. And there's the Coal Town Museum. So if you want to learn about the coal mining history of the West Coast of the South Island, that is the place to go.
I'm just going to let Laura think for 1 second. What I tell you guys, that every activities we talk to you guys about right now, we have a video of that on this channel. We've done all the activities we mentioned, and we have video there. So that was doing something that we call New Zealand's biggest gap year, when we challenged ourselves to do 365 activities around New Zealand in only 365 days. There is a playlist in the channel, and since you guys have plenty of spare time at the moment, maybe you want to check this one out and start playing from day one and let it go. It's pretty nuts. It's a lot happens. Anyway, so yeah, we were at Westport. What else would you do in your 2-3 days on the West Coast?
Well, if you travel south, you can go to the town of Greymouth, which is the largest town on the West Coast. There you can do some really awesome 4-wheel drive, or like they're 4-wheel buggy sort of tours. You self-drive it yourself, so it's really cool. There's quad biking tours as well in the same place.
Don't turn it over, they don't like it.
Yeah. So that's a place called On Your Bike.
Yep.
You can also do a brewery tour at the Monteith's Brewery in Greymouth as well.
The brewery tour only takes about 30-45 minutes, so you can do that after any other activity you've done.
Moving down a little bit further south, you can go to the town of Hokitika, which is known for its greenstone carving. You can spend the whole day doing a greenstone carving workshop there as well, to make your own sort of pendants that you can take home with you, which is really cool. You can also visit a place called Hokitika Gorge, which is famous for its super blue waters, beautiful sort of river gorge landscape. There's a short walk to check that out. Then if you move a little further south, you can go to Punakaiki, which is famous for its pancake rocks. Just a short walk to check out some stacked limestone formations, which look like pancakes, which is pretty cool. And then is Franz Josef going to be a separate location?
And then we are moving on to Glacier Country. So in Glacier Country, we have Franz Josef and Fox Glacier. And we even have the town of Haast down there, all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, so Franz Josef and Fox Glacier both offer quite similar things in terms of their activities, because Franz Josef is famous for the Franz Josef Glacier, and the town of Fox Glacier is famous for the Fox Glacier. So both of these towns, they're only 20 minutes apart, so you basically choose whichever one you know appeals more to you, but they both offer heli hiking, which takes you onto the glacier in a helicopter, and you go on a glacier hiking tour with your crampons on. You have a guide to show you around the glacier. It's a really awesome and different experience. You get to go through ice caves and that sort of thing, which is really cool. Alternatively, you can do skydiving there. It's a really scenic place, probably one of the most scenic places to do skydiving in New Zealand, if you want to see both mountains and sea and everything in between. All of that is there, which is pretty cool as well. And then when you get to Haast, it's kind of a really sort of remote feeling place of New Zealand. You can take jet boat tours to go into the Mount Aspiring National Park and see some amazing wilderness. But you can also go and there's various beaches and various walks to do there. And it's famous for whitebait fishing, which is, fishing for little baby fish, and they sell them in bags. You can always, it's a New Zealand speciality, so it's a place to go and check that out and try that for yourself.
Sorry, guys, I thought Laura was done, so I started drawing this one, but this is the Queenstown area. And so this includes Wanaka, Queenstown, Arrowtown. So there is quite a bunch of stuff here. And it's kind of the gateway to quite a few extra activities. So we think it's an area to actually spend 2-3 days, and maybe even a little bit more, because you can even escape and go to the Fiordland National Park.
Yeah, so what Robin's referring to mainly is from Queenstown, you can do bus or flights to Milford Sound, which, if you haven't heard, it's a beautiful fjord landscape, which is basically like huge mountains towering from the water of the coast. It's just, full of waterfalls. It's real surreal landscape. They do sort of day tours from Queenstown to go check that out. But also in Queenstown and the Wanaka area, you can do skydiving, you can do canyoning, bungee jumping, snowboarding and skiing in winter. You can do whitewater rafting more in summer. It's known as the adventure capital of the world, of New Zealand, of everything. So any adventure activity you can think of, they probably do in Queenstown. But it's also known for its beautiful scenery, also a wine region as well, so you can do wine tours. Really, there's a whole lot to do in Queenstown, so you'll have to check some of our videos on YouTube. We've got loads of activity examples of what you can do in Queenstown, so Yeah, that's basically Queenstown.
So the best way to explore the Fjordland area, which is this area right here, basically here, the best way to explore this area is usually from Queenstown. But all this area here is called the Southland, and it's your gateway to Stewart Island here, which is absolutely awesome. And there is also a few awesome things to do here. I'm just letting the Catlins out, just so you know.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so in Southland, one of the main cities there is Invercargill. So there you can do, what can you do in Invercargill? You can go, well, there's some surfing tours at a place called
really awesome
Riverton, I think it's called. In Invercargill, there's also a chocolate factory making sort of experiences. You can make your own chocolate there. There's the Bill Richardson Transport World, if you want to see it's one of the largest collections of vehicles I've ever seen, which is pretty cool.
There's also some caves to explore.
Yep, there's the Clifton Caves. So that's like a self-guided cave experience you can do.
That means you are on your own, so you better be prepared.
On your own, but yeah, you just basically have to follow some markers through a cave, which does take you quite a while. I think it takes you maybe like an hour to 2 hours to get through this cave network, which is really, really fun.
When we did it and we filmed, we actually didn't realize it would be that long, and with the filming it take way longer. So we spent a good more than half a day down in those caves. It was a bit eerie at some point.
Yeah. There's also the town of Gore, which is known as the brown trout capital of New Zealand. So if you're into fishing and fly fishing, that is the place to go. But the thing that we love the most about Southland is Stewart Island, which is this extra island at the bottom of the South Island. You can take a ferry or a flight there and stay there a few days. And over there's a place called Ulva Island. And over there, it's a bird sanctuary. So you can do a few short walks around the island and see loads of different birds. It's unlike anywhere I've seen. There's kiwi birds just sort of out in the daytime, sort of wandering the island. There's beautiful parrots and things like that there as well. So yeah, if you're into wildlife in the wilderness, Stewart Island is definitely a really cool place to check out.
Just so you guys know, when people ask us what are our favorite activities to do around New Zealand, very often Laura picks Ulva Island, which is just off the shore of Stewart Island, as one of her favorite activities to do in the country.
It is, yeah.
So the next thing that we're going to be picking right here is a very small one, but it's the Catlins. It's actually way smaller than that. I think it's just there. So it's the Catlins here, just because there is really a lot to do in the Catlins. And it's a great place to do a 2 to 3 days road trip. And the question was, what do I do during 2 or 3 days road trip around in each region? You should take a road trip for 2 or 3 days in the Catlins.
Yes. So in the Catlins, it's really awesome because it's actually full of free activities to do. There's various short walks to waterfalls. There's about 3 or 4 different waterfalls that you can check out in the Catlins. There's also some really stunning coastline and beaches. And many of those beaches are actually inhabited by really interesting wildlife like sea lions, New Zealand fur seals, and penguins as well. So while you're traveling around, you're quite likely to see some wildlife along the way too, which is really awesome. And then there's various different other short walks to some mirror lakes, for instance, Wilkes Lakes, I'm thinking of. And yeah, that's the Catlins.
All right, so we're going through the big Otago Peninsula and Dunedin areas right here.
All right, so on the Otago Peninsula, which is just right near Dunedin.
Just so you know, some people are waiting for Otago and Dunedin. The Engineer 77 is eager to hear what you have to say about the Otago Peninsula and Dunedin.
Okay, so starting with the Otago Peninsula, that is also a really awesome place for wildlife. There's various wildlife tours you can take there to sort of private conservation lands to actually get some really good viewings of yellow-eyed penguins, blue penguins, are they called Royal Albatross?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, Royal Albatross, which are the largest types of seabirds in the world. They're really amazing to see up close. You can also see sea lions, seals. So if you are really into wildlife, we absolutely recommend going to the Otago Peninsula to do some of the wildlife tours there. But in Dunedin itself, which is quite a large city in New Zealand, you can go to various really cool museums. They have the Otago Museum, which has various different sort of history of New Zealand and history of the Maori history.
There's a lot about the settlers as well.
Yeah, there's the Toitu Museum, which is about the early settlers of the region, which is quite an interesting museum too. Yeah. But Dunedin's also known for its architecture because it's very different to elsewhere in New Zealand. They have the railway station, which is a good photo opportunity there.
And even the center of the city is the octagon, which is such a weird, it's interesting to see the city center being a massive, octagonal shape where all the buses are going. It's kind of bustling. It's quite cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably enough to wrap up Dunedin.
Yep. All right. So we're moving on. Well, we're going to go all the central kind of Southland. We're going to go all the way close to Christchurch, but not just yet.
Yeah. So usually when you're traveling in this area, a lot of people like to stop at places like Mount Cook. Mount Cook is the the highest mountain in New Zealand. And in that area, it's a really good place to explore some of the Southern Alps scenery. And there's various ways to do that. There are scenic flights you can take from Mount Cook Village or from nearby Lake Tekapo. You can also do some heli hiking on glaciers again. So if you missed out on this side in the West Coast, you have another opportunity at Mount Cook. There's loads of different hikes you can do here. One of the most famous ones is the Hooker Valley hike, which can take you to a glacier terminal lake, which is pretty cool as well. Really a lot of stuff to do there. And that area is more about the alpine scenery if you want to get more of that in there. Also in the area is Lake Tekapo, which is famous for just its scenery. It's beautiful turquoise lake. There's some hot pools there.
I just want to stress one thing about Lake Tekapo. You do not need to spend one night here. So many people just plan to spend the night there, and then it's just a photo op, just take your pictures and keep on moving. There is very little amount of accommodation available in Lake Tekapo, so you are kind of making it harder for yourself to travel there. So I think just definitely a pit stop, amazing pit stop, definitely, but not necessary to spend the night there.
And just north of Lake Tekapo, as you're traveling towards Christchurch, it's worth stopping in a town called Geraldine. Here, there's one of the probably most extreme whitewater rafting tours you can do at Rangitata Rafts.
One of my favorite activities in the country.
Yeah, and there's also the Peel Forest horse trekking, so you can do some horse trekking in some pretty awesome scenery and up some mountains, that sort of thing. So that's always worth checking out as well.
All right, then we have the Christchurch and Banks Peninsula area.
Yep, so Christchurch is the largest city in the South Island. It has an interesting history because there were some earthquakes there quite a few years ago, which there's various museum displays and stuff like that at the Canterbury Museum you can check out at Quake City, which I think is part of the Canterbury Museum now. It's also known as the Garden City, so you can check out some gardens, beautiful botanic gardens in Christchurch as well. And it's a good place to stock up because it's a city. So if you need to stock up for the rest of your road trip, good place to go there as well. But we are really enthusiastic about Akaroa, which is on the Banks Peninsula, and it's this sort of bulge here on the side of the South Island. Again, really famous for its wildlife. They have one of the largest little blue penguin colonies there, and they do tours at that area. There's various different boat tours you can do to see some of the really interesting formations, because the Akaroa Harbour actually what used to be an ancient volcano, which is pretty cool. Well, it is an ancient volcano. And you can see various, you can do some swimming with some of the world's smallest species of dolphins, which is pretty cool as well. I think that's enough for that.
All right. And then basically we have the Kaikoura area. What can we do in Kaikoura?
In Kaikoura, again, famous for its marine wildlife. So you can do whale watching there, which is available all year round. You can do it by flights, scenic flights over the whales, which is really cool. Or you can do it by boat. There's dolphin swimming, there's seal swimming, which is one of Robin's favorite activities to do in the South Island. And there's also albatross boat tours, so you can get real close to some albatross on the water. There's all sorts.
Yeah, there's really a ton of activities in Kaikoura. And again, every single activity that Laura mentioned today, we have a video of it on this channel. So if you want to see if it's kind of your thing or if it's not, check out the video and see, if you want to do that or not.
Yeah.
So I hope that this video was really useful to you guys. That is basically a 2 to 3 days road trip in each of the kind of tourist region of the Southland and of New Zealand. If you do have some follow-up questions, put them in the comments below. If you do find that useful, make sure to click like or subscribe. It's a great way for you to say thank you for all the hard work, and it's free to do, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. All right, let's go back to the live chat. Babu was saying, good night, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for popping in. The engineer 77 said so he was waiting for the Otago and Dunedin part. So I hope that was useful to you. I hope that you liked it. Sachin say, hi, guys. Hey, how are you doing, Sachin? Hey. Thank you for popping in. We have Mayer Bosale. I hope I said it properly. I probably did it not justice at all. He asked, is visa checked at any shipping port in New Zealand? Yes, they are. Visas are checked, and they actually are controlled in every single port of entry of New Zealand. So even if you're sailing a boat right here, as soon as you're on board the boat, there are some checks for visas, immigration, quarantine as well. So all the biosecurity and everything, they're very tight for that. And it's every entry port of New Zealand. So an entry port is an airport, is a shipping port. It's every single entry port of the country.
So you won't be able to smuggle yourself into New Zealand.
No, basically, you can't do that. I don't know if that's what he was asking, but just in case. Why in the world said, good morning, Robin, Laura. Or Laura and Robin. Hey, how are you doing? Terra Lightning say, is the Bill Richardson any like the museum at the Kapiti Coast? No, it's so big.
It's bigger. It's certainly got like a lot more going. Yeah, it's just a bit, maybe a bigger version than that. Also, a lot of their vehicles there, they have restored as well. So there's a mix of. It's huge. It's definitely like probably from what we've experienced, one of the most impressive sort of museums of that type that we've seen. So yeah, I mean, it's got a similar theme to the one on the Kapiti Coast, but it's just on a bigger scale.
If you're into, sorry about that. If you are into cars and vehicle and all the vehicle and everything like that, and you're just hesitating between both museums, I think that you will get a much bigger fix in the Bill Richardson Museum because there is just so much there.
Yeah.
So I think just sheer size of it is quite impressive. I mean, they have enough space that at some places they have just recreated old streets to put like their cars in, as well as old shops and everything like that. It's just that big. It's really,
and they tried to make it more of something to appeal to more people than just petrol heads. So they have like, the world of wearable art. If you've been in New Zealand, you kind of understand that the world of wearable art is a kind of like a creative fashion show that is featured in various museums. Like the pieces that have been created feature in various museums around New Zealand. So it's likely that you've seen pieces from that before. And they feature some of that also in the Bill Richardson Museum.
So check out the video that we have on the Bill Richardson Museum, Terra Lightning, and you'll be able to see what we mean when we say how big it is. It's really gigantic. Like, just look at the size of the truck and see how many is it in each room. It's crazy. Winowall says, question, since you can't come to Christchurch this year, is there a time that suits you? I could visit you winter or springtime. I want to come to Central North Island again later this year, more in Rotorua. At the moment, we don't even know if we can leave our home, so maybe just send us a private message on like Facebook or something like that, and we'll see what happens. But right now, we have no plan whatsoever for the foreseeable kind of future right now. And then afterward, we need to catch up on all the things that we haven't done. So it's going to be a bit of a crunch for this time. But send us a private message and we may be able to organize something. But right now, the thing is like, we have like a big roster of like what we plan on doing and everything. And right now it's chaos. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. The correct answer is I have no idea right now. Yeah. So sorry about like the shiftiness right here. We just, I don't know how anyone can plan any trip at the moment. So Leo Toledo says, hey guys, good morning. Is the Black Desert Roads a good place to visit?
The Black Road Desert.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
There is a place called the Desert Road, which is near Mount Ruapehu. If you can just confirm in the comments if that's the one that you mean.
I don't know why it's called Black Road.
Yeah, exactly. Just give us a bit more details to which place you mean, and we can.
Oh, the Black Desert. Are you talking about black beaches? There is a lot of black sand beaches.
Yeah.
But I think you mean the desert road. But it's a really awesome place. It's really scenic. It's near the Montreal, so it's in central North Island.
Yeah, so it's a good place to to get some good photos of the central North Island volcanoes. So seeing them from a perspective which is far away, and you can also get a good photo of all of those mountains together. Yeah. There's a few mountain biking trails in the area, sort of on some like gravel roads. So if you're into mountain biking, that's usually a good place to find some bike trails. But otherwise, I mean, it's more the desert road itself. It's just kind of more of a highway to.
It's kind of the place where people take their road trip pictures of New Zealand. Exactly. You want to show that you took a road trip to New Zealand. You need a picture of you and your car on that road. That's it.
So definitely, if you want to take, if you're thinking about which road to take to pass through that area of the. Of basically near the Tongariro National Park, then it's definitely a good route to take to get some cool photos along the way. Yeah.
So we also have Extreme Talota that says, question, have you been to any Maori mirais on the Southland? So if you guys don't know, a mirais is the Maori meeting place. You probably have seen picture of those if you have done any research on New Zealand. There are those red roof houses which they have a big A-frame, and it's usually really beautifully carved right in front. And so they are very iconic places of New Zealand, and there usually is one in every village or every town of New Zealand. It sometimes have more than one, but So yes, we have been actually to some mirais on the South Island. I remember the one in Akaroa. So we've been to one in Akaroa, which was very nearby. Probably the smallest church I've ever seen in my life. There was like 3 benches in this church.
It's a really cute church. But we do have a video of us actually visiting that marae. I think it's called Onuku.
Onuku Marae.
So that's near Akaroa. So if you type into YouTube Akaroa Marae, you'll most likely find our video there, and you can check out our visit to there.
We also we spent Waitangi Day in Oaklands Bay, and so with that we actually visit also the marae that was in Oaklands Bay as well during part of the festivities. We didn't have that much time. We didn't have that much time in Marae, to be honest, because Waitangi Day is pretty big celebration, and in Oaklands Bay they're taking it really seriously. So there was a lot of events. There was a lot of things to see and goes everywhere and everything. So between all the pufferys and all that, so there was so much. It's an awesome video. You can check it out. And we tried to do what we could, filming it through the whole chaos, but that was quite fun. So that's another Marae that we visited on the South Island. Another one that you can come to your mind.
For the South Island, I think we more in the North Island for mirais.
So I feel like the access to the Maori culture and the Maori lifestyle is much more easy on the North Island than on the South Island. So we mostly experience that on the South Island. On the North Island. So on the South Island, I think they were the only 2 mirais I think we have visited in the South Island. But in North Island, we've done ton, like really quite a lot of them, especially on the East Cape, where we literally spend time like night there. And
we stayed overnight in a marae, which is pretty nice.
So that's our experience for Marae on the South Island. Do you know of some that we should have visited? Extreme Talota. Talota. Why are you asking? Is there something that you were fishing for and that we missed it? Tell us.
In Tokoroa,
Tokoroa is on the North Island, though. But there is a few marae in Tokoroa. Tokoroa is really cool. I love the wood carving. They're so eerie when you drive through it. It's really awesome. All right, so the Engineer 77 says, perfect, thank you. The plan is to visit the South Island in February, mainly Queenstown area, Invercargill and Dunedin, Otago. Well, hopefully we gave you a few pointers of what to visit. How long are you going to be spending in the South Island? If you follow our plan, you just do this whole area. We have 3 days around Queenstown, about 3 days in Southland, 3 days in Catlins, and 3 days in Dunedin. So we gave you about 12-day itinerary. So hopefully that should match it. Mr. Faraday Stoneskin is here to say hi. Obviously, a bunch of emojis. So if you guys don't know, this lovely person just always overload us with emojis every time he shows up. Why in the world is agreeing with us? He thinks that Leo was talking about the desert roads and Mount Ruapehu, and yes, Leo was talking about that. So hey, we answered your question. There you go.
We figured it out.
And so Extreme Talora say, have you tried our Mirai food called hangi? Yes, we have. Hangi is delicious. I love the fried bread.
That's not really in a hangi though.
I don't care. It's always served on the side. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we tried the hangi. We tried hangi quite a lot. We tried the Chura hangi. There is an amazing, and we don't have a video of that, but there is an amazing experience in what's the name with Nades and everything.
Oh, in near that's it.
Oh, why am I blanking?
I know, I'm blanking as well.
That is awful. Okay, talk about the hangi.
Find it out. Okay.
Yes, that would kill me if I don't.
Yeah. Okay, so hangi. We've tried in various different places around New Zealand, which has been a really cool experience. Even we've gone to some of the more sort of tourist places that prepare hangis for guests. For instance, at the Tamaki village in Rotorua. Personally, when I first arrived in New Zealand, I was invited to one of my Maori friends' home where he actually prepared a hangi all day long for us, which is really cool. Also at O'Kane's Bay, we told you about the Waitangi Day celebrations they had in Akaroa. They actually prepared a hangi for the whole celebrations as well. So you sort of had that as well as part of the events, which is really cool. Did you find the name of the place?
Yes, it was. There's a really awesome Maori experience in Murupara, actually, out of all places.
That's it.
So I know that almost no tourist will go there, but if you guys, I know that you guys are asking, you are locals, but there is a really awesome place which is run by Nades and her husband, and it's a really awesome place to have experienced that, because you also so you do the hangi and you help cooking with it, but then you also go to the schools on the next day and you bring some food as well to the kids over there. It's just a whole overall amazing experience, which is really, really cool. So yeah, if you guys don't know, here you go. We do like hangi very much. I mean, it looks like a pain to cook. It looks like a lot of work to cook. So we like eating it. Yeah, like many things, it's like baking. You kind of, the process and everything's like, but the eating part is really awesome.
Yeah.
All right. MB 1968 New Zealand says, keep tourists 2 months, in my opinion, lockdown, lol. It's probably already going to be the case. So, let's be honest, it's already 4 weeks right now. It's probably going to be the case for another 4 weeks. It's highly likely that it's happening. So, yeah. And he also says, I'm a hangi expert, mainly eating it. Here you go. We got something. Come on, my friend. We are very good at eating it. I'm pretty sure no one would like to eat my hangi. Let's be honest. Extreme Tolota says, I've done a lot of hangi in Tokoroa. Nice. How good is the fried bread in Tokoroa? Because I have to say the fried bread is, with some cream and some jam. Oh, so good. Wine Wall said, do you guys know about any food festival that happen annually in the Northern and ideally second half of the year, since I'm missing out on Bluff Oyster Festival? There was meat. There is a meat festival in Auckland that I think that's cancelled. So far, almost every festival that we are listing on the site actually have been cancelled for this year.
Yeah.
So,
I think all public gatherings are sort of cancelled.
And a lot of them have cancelled far ahead in advance. So far as we know, even events up to August and September have started cancelling. So I wouldn't really be able to help too much with that. Anything that comes to mind?
There's usually the Auckland Food Festival, which is kind of it's a big collection of food festivals, things going on. And there's Wellington on a Plate, which is kind of I think it's a month long of sort of different events happening in the city. But yeah, again, like Robin says, I wouldn't sort of plan for any festivals for the rest of the year, just because it's probably not likely to be happening. So yeah. Sorry, we can't really get. Usually you would have Wellington on the Plate, and usually you'd have the Auckland Food Festival is the first things that come to mind. There's a few that we have listed on nzpocketguide.com, but they do change. There's a scallops festival, I think near Whitianga, for instance. So that would be maybe your sort of thing that's like the Bluff Oyster Festival, but that's in the Coromandel. But yeah, like I said, don't know if it's going to happen this year.
Yeah. So right now, everything is up in the air. So I think we should give it a couple of months, and then we'll see what's happening, and then we'll be able to update everything. All right, what else has been happening? MB196 says, "Oops, ignore my last post, please." You're very welcome. I ignore it. Look, I didn't even read it. I did read it. Extreme Taloa says it depends how you want it. Your fried bread. Okay, I like my fried bread to be warm and soft and just ready to eat. I don't know if there is any different fried bread, actually. Is there?
Well, I've seen sometimes you can have it with like cream and jam and stuff like that. But I've also seen that a place in Auckland does it with like sort of melted chocolate on top as well.
Oh, that'd be good. I'm gonna try that. I want to try this one. I need extra sugar on my fried breads. I mean, it's just no tears. Okay. Alberto Santa Barbara Country, California. I know where you're from. Alberto says, when is New Zealand open again? When is travel opening? At the moment, we don't know. We know that we are on lockdown for at least an extra 3 weeks, and it's probably going to be renewed. But we do have a video that we posted about 2 hours ago that explain everything and the state of traveling at this time and give you a bit more information. We also read from both the Ministry of Health, we read from the government official website, as well as we read from Immigration New Zealand. So we give you all the information that we currently have available. So it's on literally the last video that we posted in this channel. So Alberto, I think this is the information you're looking for. It's about a 10-12 minute videos, but we literally go through everything. So you probably want to watch that video and get all the information you need.
And we will be posting extra videos when there are changes to any of the restrictions that are currently happening in New Zealand. So if you just keep an eye on this channel, and we do sort of provide updates quite often. You can also do the little click on the bell down there, and that gives you notifications when we have a new video as well. So that's a good way to make sure. A lot of people don't know what that bell's for, but that bell is for the notifications.
I didn't know that. So Alberto, you'll be able to travel to New Zealand, as soon as tourism open again. It's the same now all around the world. There's a ban on every country right now, and most countries is the same. So it's just that. But the good thing is that it has to end at some point, and because it's the same everywhere, you can just save your money and plan your trip, and you're in the right place. So plan your trip now, so then as soon as everything reopens, you'll be able to go. But give it 2, 3, 4 months. We'll see, and just keep up with the channel, and we'll let you know as soon as we know for sure, because there is a lot of people asking us for that. And we can't wait to have you in New Zealand, man. That's gonna be awesome. Come and travel, come and have fun here. MB1968 says, I love fried bread, keep it basic. Okay, well, just with nothing else in it. I mean, come on, you have to put some naughty stuff in your fried bread. It's still pretty
nice by itself.
Extreme Tolata say, have you tried a bread called Riwana bread?
No, I don't think we have.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Do tell.
Yeah, do tell us more about that.
Can I eat it? And please do share. Okay, Victor Bergman says, I'm going to take a gap year this year. I want to go to New Zealand. Is it a good timing to take a gap year, or should I just continue studying and take a gap year a couple of years later? I want to go around October. At this stage, we don't know if you will be able to come in October. Hopefully, you will be able to. I mean, it's so far ahead. Go ahead. Taking a gap year in New Zealand is awesome. And the earlier you do it, the more you're going to find yourself before you go studying again. I am against studying personally, on a personal level. I think studying is a bit kind of it doesn't teach you as much as, life experience can teach you. So I personally think that you should choose to take a gap year earlier rather than later. So if you can take a gap year before you study, you will learn so much more, and then you decide what you want to do, study-wise and everything like that. So I think as early as you can, take your gap year. It's my personal opinion.
But with the current events happening right now, it's obviously really hard to plan, is it actually going to be working to go and travel to another country? Even in October, it's still unsure. So, if you are able to put off this decision until just before October, then go for it. But if you actually have to make the decision right now, and because there's so much uncertainty, I would actually say that if you have to make the decision right now, maybe leave it a couple of years, because you really don't know what's going to be happening in the near future.
I say if you can wait until August to take a decision, in August, take a decision, come to New Zealand. Come have a gap year here. It's awesome. But if you want more information actually about that, like why you should take a gap year and even how to use a gap year on a CV, as a valuable experience, like a lot of employers will be like, oh, you just took a gap year. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, or you just, bummed around for a year. If you want to know how to use that very well on the CV, we actually done some articles on nzpocketguide.com, which actually explain how to write like your gap year on your CV to make it like very valuable for employers, as well as, some where it's like some reason to kind of convince you to take a gap year. Like, for example, we have a funny article, which is how to convince your parents to let you take a gap year in New Zealand. And it's more like the title is more of a bit of a joke, but it's some really valid reason on why you should actually take a gap year in New Zealand. And so, yeah, you can check that out. So you go on nzpocketguide.com, then you click on prepare your trip. Travel tips, and then you click on prepare your trip, and in there is all the kind of like those kind of things. There is even also inspiration that should help you as well. So I think that should help you, Victor. And keep on watching the channel. We'll keep you up to date, and hopefully you get to take the decision a little bit later. But since Laura and I gave you both different advice, you've got to kind of tell us in the live chat right now which one.
Yeah, are you going to decide now, or are you going to decide later?
Yeah, tell us. Alberto says, haha, it's a lifelong dream trip. Yeah, well, you know what? New Zealand is definitely worth a lifelong dream trip. It will meet your expectation. Make sure you have long enough. And you just get extra time to prepare. So all good. All right, so we're still talking about this fried bread. So it's a Maori fried bread that is usually served with hangi.
Well, we've moved on to the other bread now. The what's it called? The
Riwana. Okay, so first up, MB says that he likes the fried bread with loads of butter, so it's best. Okay, cool. Then the Riwana bread, it's Maori bread with potato yeast or bug. Okay, I want to try that.
Yeah,
guaranteed, I want to try that potato yeast bread. I didn't even know. What is it like? Gnocchis, which are like those pasta made out of potatoes, those Italian things.
Oh yeah,
since you can use kind of base to make pasta, maybe you can use potato base to make bread. I never thought of that, but yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really good too. Do you fry it as well?
Is everything fried?
Yes, I mean I'm getting hungry right here, guys. I'm getting hungry. All right, so Wine World says, I checked their website and the Whitianga Scallop Festival is cancelled for September this year, but it looks good, so I'll go in 2021. So yeah, that's what we're telling you, man. There is a lot of things that have been cancelled as far up as September. So since there is so much unknown right now, we can't really tell you which other food festival you can go like this year.
Yeah.
It's the same for us, man. We have a lot of trip plans and everything right now. Everything is up in the air. And as soon as we know, we're going to rebook everything. But everything is up in the air.
Yeah. All right. So we have the best bread in the world.
So again, that's the Riwana bread.
The Riwana bread. The bread, you can have it toasted or not and have it with real butter on it. It is really, really nice. Well, now you're just making us hungry.
Okay. We're going to have to find some people around. We have a few friends around. We're going to go on the Facebook group of our local town. And we're going to try to see if someone makes Riwana bread.
Is anyone making Riwana bread?
Yes. So yeah, we are going to be hunting Riwana bread Extreme Talota, and hopefully we'll get some.
Yeah.
Victor Berman say, I need to decide in May, so I am going to wait until the last moment. Okay, yes. You get 2 months to plan. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, see what the situation, what happens, and if it looks like you'll be able to actually start your gap year in October. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and what are you going to study as well? I'm kind of curious because depending on your subject you're studying, I will have even a stronger opinion on that. I hope it's not psychology or history. Come on. This does not help. Alexandre Carrière. Oh, look at that. I said it in French. Hi, guys. Sometimes we can hear a loud siren. Will you happen to know what it means? So if you're in New Zealand and you can hear the loud siren, that usually means that there is the fire station is called for. So that means either there is an emergency, so there is a small kitchen fire or something like that, or there is someone that needs to be rescued. So if you're in a town in New Zealand and you hear the siren, that's what it means. Now, if you're in a town nearby a volcano or anything, what siren do you need to look forward to?
As far as I know, there's only one place. If you're living right next to Mount Ruapehu, for instance, there's a couple of, Whakapapa Village is the only place where they have sirens for if there's a laha coming down the mountain, which is...
So a laha is basically
a river coming from fiery nonsense coming towards you. And they have it. Basically, their siren is a lady speaking on the loudspeaker like, this is a laha warning. Get away from the rivers. So, I mean, at least she tells you something and you know what that siren is for. But
if you just say "Arr, arr," that just means they call the volunteers, firemen, to go to their station and then head to the emergency. So it's just to say, if you are home now and you're a firefighter, hop on the car, get to the fire station, and get to the emergency that you are called in for. So that's all it means. There shouldn't be too much. Now, if you see smoke and the siren is really close by, that probably is your fire alarm in your home, and then you need to head out. But it's good that you ask anyway, Alexandre. So that's what it means. Victor says, it's still very unsure, I think it's better to do my first year of study. Graphic design. Okay, now that's useful. You know what? Yes, definitely. It means I don't have any tests and I get to use my imagination. That's pretty good. Completely agree with you. I hate with your hate against studying. Haha. I don't hate it. I just always kind of with studying, right? I always kind of think like practical skills or real life skills, and I feel like there is so much that you can learn online as well. Like graphic design, you can find so many amazing courses. Like, have you heard about a website called Masterclass, for example? Or it's really cool. You just it costs you only a few euros to subscribe, and you can watch actual graphic designer do their work, and you can learn from that as well. It's fascinating. So I love doing that. So maybe kind of consider maybe it's trying to do self-teaching for a year while traveling in New Zealand, and then you head to your study and you see if it's really your thing. Because one of the stories that we hear a ton, right, is people coming to New Zealand, traveling around, and then telling us, well, I've done my first year of study. I was planning on traveling in New Zealand, and I decided I kind of don't want to do that anymore. So you kind of wasted 1 year of study, right? So I feel like since I've heard this story so much, I'm more like, okay, just travel first, find yourself, and then you do some study.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that just study stuff and then never use it, and they do something completely different. And it's kind of like, oh, why did you either pay for the studying or don't pay if you're from a good country in Europe, or just travel and just find yourself. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how old you are and stuff, if you've had some life experience already. But usually when you're if you're fresh out of school and you don't really know what to do with your life, or if you think you know what to do with your life but you may be unsure, you don't really know until you're in it, it's kind of best to get some life experience
life bursts. So it's just obviously also because that's the way we live our life as well. So it's just it's different. And you can hear very different opinion from other people. But look, this is our piece of this is from two random people on the internet. For what it counts, this is what we think, without knowing you whatsoever. Really take it with a massive grain of salt what we just said, Victor. But thank you for joining us. Alexandre say, awesome, thanks guys. So I guess that wasn't the fire alarm in your home, since you get to respond again. So good. You're welcome, Alexandre. Where are you right now in New Zealand? And are you staying put? Are you enjoying the self-isolation? Extreme Talota say, when you try, let us know. And it's very, very nice. We will try to try it. And of course, we will tell you as soon as we try it. And Why in the World says, last time I was in Hadmer Springs, they had a super loud siren. The whole town could hear it. It went off and it gets the attention of the local volunteer firefighter. The whole town is surrounded by forest. So here you go, Alexandre. You get another local somewhere down on the Southland that gives you about the same kind of answer that we have. So the loud siren is usually calling the firefighters. Victor Bergman says, I would really like to travel first, but I'm really in a rough spot with this whole current event. Maybe take 2 gap years. Now we're talking. Taking 2 gap years, even better. Well, one of the things that you can consider is that if the first part of your gap year is not about traveling, you can still do a lot. You can do a lot of self-teaching. You can be planning stuff. You can volunteer and do some extra stuff at home. You can try your hand at trying, start a small business. Or, you can try a few things. You can try to do you're interested in graphic design, do some self-teaching for a couple of months, and then try to find either an internship or some really cheap gigs. You can go on the website called Fiverr, for example, where you can sell your services for a very small amount of money. So then you get some experience. So if I were you and you are taking a gap year, and the first half of your trip you can travel. Well, do a couple of months of self-teaching. You do those masterclass thing. You do a few online courses and everything. It will cost you a few $100 or a few €100, but you get some good experience out of it, and that's still cheaper than a year at school. Let's go. Even if you get school for free, you still have to buy books and that. It's still cheaper. So you learn a bit of that, and then you spend the remaining next 2 or 3 months on a website called Fiverr, and you sell your services as a graphic designer. So you create some product that you can do, like, I will design a logo for you, or I will do this, or I will do that. And you sell that for, let's say, €20, something really cheap. You sell those services for really cheap. But you get clients' requests. You get to see how it works to interact with clients and all of that. And you get some life experience, you get some experience to put on your CV. And also, even if you decide to go to school and learn graphic design after that, you will have some real life concrete bases that you can remember when the teacher talks about this or that. You're like, never going to apply. Well, then at this point, you actually have some example on which to apply them to. And so that's going to make your learning and your schooling way more valuable at that point. So I don't know. That's how I would do it if you want to do 2 gap years and you end up not being able to travel for the first few months of your gap year because of the current events.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Again, I'm a random guy on the internet. I know nothing about
Robin is not a certified life coach, so...
Can you be certified life coach? Is there a certification of life coaching?
You could probably go study that at a university, life coaching. So
So I'm definitely not trying to life coach you, mate. I just had an idea. When you say that, it's like, what would I do if it was me? That's basically what it is. Again, I'm a random guy on the internet.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you have no reason to trust this guy.
No reason to trust me. You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, I personally feel like I've done pretty good for myself. I love my life, but everybody is different, and so you may want to study. All right, sorry about that. I just feel like it wasn't my place to give you some advice, but I felt like it came out of my mouth straight away.
It happened anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Victor. Anyway, we're going to conclude with Mr. Faradi, hashtag Stone Skin, giving us a ton of emojis.
All kind of food related, maybe relating to the conversation that we've had, which has been very food related as well on the live chat. So
thank you guys for making us really hungry. We are going to conclude this live session, and we're going to go straight away eat some
bake
food.
some bread.
But yeah, that was awesome hanging out with you guys. We're really happy that you're sticking with us, despite the fact that traveling in New Zealand may not be in the cards literally within the next few weeks. But it will happen. Like, there is no way you're not going to be able to travel to New Zealand in the next few months. It will happen. It will reopen, and you're still going to be able to travel New Zealand.
But when, we don't know.
Yeah. So I hope that you guys are going to keep on popping in and hanging out with us in the meantime anyway, because that just gives you extra time to plan your trip to New Zealand. So we're here to help with that. We can also help you plan your life, apparently.
Well, yeah, now Victor's actually seems to be saying, wow, really great idea. I think I will do some self-studying first, and whenever the borders open up again, I will immediately go to New Zealand. So there you go, Robin. You've had an influence.
Think so, please. Let it be the right decision for you. I will feel bad if it's not. But yeah, just come up regularly and tell us that things are going great for you. Like just reassure us.
Come back and reassure Robin that he did a good job with his advice.
Oh God. And tell us if you do have a gig online. I may just buy one of your little gigs. So just I get you to design a logo for whatever, for our YouTube channel or something like that. Just so someone is using your services. Yeah, so I'm not feeling too bad. Please just don't let it be for nothing. And Fernando says, enjoy your bread. Thanks for keeping us updated on the situation over here. You're very welcome. We are super happy to help. And Victor says he will come back, and Y2J advise you, Victor, to come in September or later anyway, because winter is pretty cold in New Zealand. It's cold on the Southland and on the Northland. We're fine. We're fine. Just Y2J picked the wrong place to live in. It's just too cold over there. I'm joking. The Southland is really awesome, and you should definitely spend some time in the Southland. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Guys, we'll be back next week with one of those live sessions where we answer all your questions every single week. In the meantime, if you can't make it to our live session, you can put your questions in the comments of one of our videos, and we answer them live every time. And otherwise, we are back next week on Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which is, Laura, at 1 hour here.
Okay, so in Europe, which is due to change sometime soon. It is either 8 or 9 p.m. UK or France, not 7 or 8 p.m. because that's going to change. In the US, that is on a Saturday as well at 2 p.m. EST and 11 a.m. PST. In India, that is on a Sunday morning at 12:30 a.m. And in Australia, that is also on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week. And stay safe.